Good day and welcome to Mayorkings TV News. I am Timiela Emanuela. First, the headlines. Governor Oboriwori confirms Delta to be synonymous with sport development in Nigeria. Flooding affects over 1 million persons in Nigeria, says NEMA. Chevron restates commitment towards supporting the media for enhancement of professionalism. Lagos to shut Echo Bridge from September 16 for 18 weeks of repairs. In the business world, President Tinubu assures of a robust economy. In the foreign scene, Trump rules out another presidential debate against Harris. In the world of sport, Randy Waldrum resigns as Super Falcons coach. And FIFA Under-20, Nigerian crash out after losing to Japan. Now the news in full. As the 8th National Youth Games NYG kicked off in Asaba, Delta State, Governor Sheriff Oboriwori has said that the state was renowned for effective sport development in Nigeria. Oboriwori said this on Thursday at the official commencement of the 2024 NYG at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba. The governor, who lamented that the Nigerians' performance in recent sports events was declining, recommended that age limit for the National Youth Games should revert to the original upper limit of under 17, as against the current under 15. Declaring the 8th edition of the Sports Fiesta open, President Bola Tinubu said the NYG was devoted to talent hunting and talent nurturing, adding that there was no better way to develop the nation's sport than to concentrate on the grassroots sport development which the Youth Games represent. The president, who was represented by the Minister of Sport Development, Senator John Eno, said the nation must continue to look at the National Youth Games as a nurturing or talent ground for the future of our sport. Meanwhile, President Tinubu disclosed that his administration was dedicated to repositioning sport for optimum performance in line with its renewed hope agenda, pointing out that it was imperative to invest more in grassroots sport development. On the age limit of the games, which is currently pegged at 15 years and below, the president said he agreed with the governor that the nation should return to the initial age classification of making the games to be under 17 and below. However, he lauded the government and the people of Delta State for their sustained commitment and support for grassroots sport development in the country. While commending Governor Oboriwori for his financial and moral support to Delta athletes and coaches, he assured all athletes from across the country of adequate accommodation and transportation throughout the 8th National Youth Games. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has revealed that 148,312 persons have been affected by the flooding in Nigeria between April and September 2024. The Director General of NEMA, Subudaya Umar, gave this report at the National Emergency Coordination Forum (ECF) in Abuja on Thursday, stating that 625,239 persons have been displaced and 259 lives lost to the disaster. Meanwhile, Umar said the main reason for convening the meeting was to receive updates on the flood situation and assign roles and responsibilities to stakeholders, noting that although flooding could not be totally prevented, efforts were being made to mitigate its impact. According to the DG, 29 states and 172 local government areas have been impacted by flooding, affecting 148,312 persons, displacing 625,239 persons, and resulting in 259 deaths. She emphasized the need for coordinated response to the disaster. However, Umar appreciated the support of international partners and encouraged them to continue providing assistance while monitoring the situation. She noted that the situation was not yet overwhelming for the Nigerian government to cope with. The General Manager, Policy, Government and Public Affairs (PGPA) of Chevron Nigeria Limited (CNL), Olusoga Odesulu, has restated the company's resolve to continually develop human capacity and support the media towards enhancement of professionalism. As of yesterday, Thursday, September 12, at the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Efrun Fupri in Delta State, Chevron Nigeria Limited, in collaboration with the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ), Warri Correspondent Chapel, organized a one-day media capacity building program for journalists in Warri. The program had in attendance journalists from across different media organizations. Meanwhile, Olusoga, who was represented by a communication representative of Chevron Nigeria Limited, Akimbola Shahid Praise, highlighted some of Chevron's commitment to developing the media to include the following: training of over 120 journalists in advanced writing and reporting skills (AWES), in collaboration with the Pan-Atlantic University of Lagos. He added that Chevron will continue to partner with the media for the development of the society. The Lagos State government has announced plans to shut and divert traffic on Echo Bridge to facilitate emergency repairs by the Federal Ministry of Works. The ministry The exercise is scheduled to commence next week Monday, September 16, and will last for 18 weeks. Precisely, Echo Bridge will reopen in the second week of February 2025. The State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Osiyemi, announced this in a statement today. He, however, explained that the repairs will be carried out in 4 phases, during which the bridge will be intimately fully or partially closed, depending on the work schedule. Therefore, Osiyemi urged motorists to use the following alternative route during the repairs. Motorists heading to the island from Funsho Williams Avenue can make use of the service lane at Alaka to connect Costain and access Echo Bridge to continue their journeys. Osiyemi further assured the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority (LASTMA) officers will be deployed to the rehabilitation areas and alternative routes to minimize travel delays and inconveniences. Now on the business news. President Bola Tinubu has welcomed the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) new report on the country's trade balance. According to the report, Nigeria recorded another trade surplus in the second quarter of 2024, hitting 6.95 trillion naira. The current surplus is 6.60% higher than the 6.52 trillion naira surplus recorded in the first quarter. Just days after the country recorded almost 100% oversubscription of its first $500 million domestic bond and half-year revenue of 9.1 trillion naira. The latest report underscores the increasing positive shift in the economy over the last year. President Tinubu expressed confidence in the reforms his administration is pursuing and believes they will create a more robust economy that will usher in a new era of prosperity for Nigerians. The NBS report reflects the country's strong export performance in the second quarter. Although total merchandise trade in the second quarter of 2024 stood at 31.89 trillion naira, a 3.76% decline compared to the preceding quarter of the first quarter of 2024. It marked a 150.39% rise from the corresponding period in 2023. The NBS reported that the second quarter surplus was essentially driven by exports to Europe, the United States, and Asia. Non-crude oil exports, valued at 4.86 trillion naira, comprised 25.02% of the total export value, with non-oil products contributing 1.94 trillion naira. Generally, the economic indicators, which were very low when President Tinubu assumed office last year, are turning positive. The government will continue to consolidate on the gains of the reforms as more fiscal and tax policy reforms already embarked upon by the administration come to fruition. President Tinubu is determined to confront the inhibitions that have stunted the growth and development necessary to unlock the country's full potential. Now in the foreign scene, Donald Trump has ruled out another presidential debate against his rival Kamala Harris before November's election. He said on Thursday, 2 days after the pair's first showdown in Philadelphia, the Harris only wanted a rematch because he nearly won. Several instant polls taken after Tuesday's contest indicated voters felt Harris has performed better than a Republican opponent. Trump, in a statement, added that Harris should instead focus on her job as vice president. Shortly after, at a campaign rally in North Carolina, Harris responded by saying they hold voters another debate because what is at stake could not be more important. Polls suggest the two candidates are in an extremely tight race with just 2 months to go before the election. Both claimed victory as Tuesday's 90-minute debate on ABC News, in which Harris rattled Trump with a string of personal attacks that put him on the defensive. This included comments about the size of his rally crowd and his conduct during the 6 January 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol. Trump and his supporters have since accused the two ABC journalists that moderated the debate of being unfair and biased in favor of Harris. Speaking after the debate, various Trump campaign surrogates, including Florida Republican Representative Matt Gaetz, said they believe Trump would welcome another debate. In the world of sport, American coach Randy Waldrum has resigned as the coach of Super Falcons. His resignation was contained in a letter dated September 12. The 67-year-old cited health issues of wife as the reason he's resigning from the job. Meanwhile, Randy Waldrum, who assumed the role of Falcons head coach in 2020, guided the team to the semi-finals of the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations (WAFCON) in Morocco. In 2017, he was offered the role of the team's technical advisor, of which he turned down the offer. He also led the record-breaking African champions to an impressive performance at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, where they captivated fans before being narrowly eliminated by England on penalties in the round of 16. The Falconets of Nigeria bowed out of the ongoing FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia after losing to Japan. The Danjuma-led team lost to Japan by 2-1, with Olushola Sobowale scoring a consolation goal later in the encounter through a well-led Goodness Osigwe's cross into the box. The Japanese took the lead in the first half that was bereft of chances, with Moyi Motsunga converting it from Rihona Ujiri's pass in the 33rd minute. Things did not change in the second half for Nigeria as they allowed opponents to control the tempo and dictate plays. It didn't take long after Japan added another through Meya Ijekati in the 63rd minute. However, Nigeria tried to add a second to take the match into extra time. It was already late as Japan ran off winners. This marks another devastating end to a campaign for the Falconets, who have not gone past this round since they lost in the finals to Germany in 2014. Now to end the news recap on our headlines. Governor Oborevwori confirms Delta to be synonymous with sport development in Nigeria. Flooding affects over 1 million persons in Nigeria. Chevron restates commitment towards supporting the media for enhancement of professionalism. Lagos to shut Echo Bridge from September 16 for 18 weeks for repairs. In the business news, President Tinubu assures of a robust economy. In the foreign scene, Trump rules out another presidential debate against Kamala Harris. In the world of sport, Randy Waldrum resigns as Super Falcons coach. Plus, Nigeria crash out after losing to Japan. That's the news is read and edited by Timiela Emanuela. Thanks for watching.